I'm gonna ask a very hard-hitting question that I want you to be honest with me. Do I have a friendly face? Do I piss you off? Because there's two things that I've come to realize. Number one, from doing these videos, which thank you so much for clicking on the video and hope you're going to enjoy the stream today. Number one, I'm just hanging out, talking, giving opinions. And there'll be like a random person will come by and be like, oh, that's stupid, this is bad, this whatever. I'm like, okay. Apparently I just, you don't like me, that's cool, that's fine. But then when I go in public settings, I don't know what the hell is going on, but random people always seem to talk to me. I don't know if it's just like a friendly face, if people want to be social. Maybe I should be the one striking up conversations with other people, but oh my goodness. Welcome to another edition of XFeed. We go over a ton of different headlines every single stream, and love that you guys are here. So today we are going through the conversation around sports merchandise because people are just absolutely fed up with how inconsistent, bad it's gotten. Can I ask you, when was the last time that you purchased a jersey of sorts? I felt like growing up, I always wanted to collect these different jerseys and had fun with doing so. And now you see the quality control and you're just like, I'm not really a fan. So I saw this on the timeline the other day from Jay Alto. Says the attention economy is dead. It's the trust economy now. And there is zero trust within sports merchandise. And I mean, as a couple of examples right off the rip, right? Number one, we saw before where there was the Stranger Things NFL collab where it's just Stranger Things name with an NFL logo. Okay, that's all right. That's cool. But then the real bigger issue is who is providing the merchandise kind of across the board. And if you have to think for a second, you'll come to mind what that is, and that is Fanatics. And if we go and we simply look, where all the way back in 2019, Fanatics is ruining sports merchandise from Teal Town, USA. One of the articles, okay, New York Times back in 24. Why fans are furious about the NHL's uniform deal with Fanatics and why they should be. This was something that was called out almost instantaneously within the industry. So then you go down and you're thinking, all right, what's coming up? What's a big event? They got to, this is going to be good. This is going to be great. The Super Bowl. These are what some of the merchandise pieces are coming out. Now, is every single piece of this Fanatics? No, not necessarily, but we'll highlight some of the craziness where, all right, it's just text. That's one thing, right? And then you go across and you see these jerseys. I mean, I don't think necessarily that one has anything wrong with it. These ones you're starting to see, it doesn't feel like it's like authentic. It's the real. People are even complaining when they purchase, very, very expensive components out of it. Very big, heavy on the text. That's one thing that I've noticed as well. And then we get into just like the craziness of what the hell is that? Like, is that actually the best we can do when we're thinking, all right, in 2026, over the past couple of years, they've been breaking records, and they've shown where on like Christmas Day with Netflix, where there's been the Amazon Prime showcases where, oh my God, record streams, this, that, and the other thing, most watched people ever. So you have a massive, massive audience. And are they disrespecting the audience, or is there somebody that's just like, yes, can I ask, if you pause the video for a second and try to zoom in on this face, I want to say that it's a toad. Like it's a character of some sort, but it doesn't look like it's from any sort of IP. Like it literally looks like a frog. So what the hell are we doing? And these are what some of the jerseys look like. And, at first glance, I'm like, yeah, okay. But again, it doesn't feel authentic. I mean, to the touch, it probably doesn't either. And just every single day, we are seeing people that are crashing out over the timeline regarding the sports merchandise front. And don't worry, we got receipts.
You guys say that everything on the TikTok shop is fake. This is damn legit as it gets.
I ordered the jersey from DHgate.
Buying fake kits is the best thing you could ever do.
Doesn't matter if you spend $250 on a jersey, you buy it online. Is still made in China by the same people.
But the fact that you can get a better, higher quality jersey for less than a fifth of the price of the one that they're selling on the MLB shop is insane.
The real reason fake jerseys are blowing up isn't just about the price. It's about what's happened to the real ones, made by a company called Fanatics.
Fanatics. I cannot. Not only did it not come in time for the game, it came yesterday like this. Like, what are we doing here?
Back looks fine. And then they flipped it over and whoops, yeah. He doesn't wear 23.
Tell me why Fanatics sent me a jersey that has a stain on it.
What Michael Rubin and Fanatics are doing should be boycotted and should be punished.
Fanatics is absolutely everywhere in sports merchandise, making the official jerseys for nearly every major sports league in the world. But the more control they've gained, the louder the complaints have gotten. To try to wrap my head around this, I decided to go back and figure out what were sports jerseys like before Fanatics took over everything. I wanted to investigate for myself. How did Fanatics actually take over sports merchandise? Am I just being nostalgic for a time that didn't actually exist before? Or is there something bigger going on here?
And I remember, and you'll probably remember as well, when the Major League Baseball jerseys, whenever they switched to that, there was instant complaints from the players. I think there was a few of them that actually started wearing the older jerseys and then were called out for it, or they didn't do it. And it's insane when you get to a level. And I'm trying to think off the top of my head that for the NHL, they switched to Under Armour this past year. No, that was the OHL. But there was also another kibosh where, like in the OHL, half the teams didn't have the jerseys come in time, so they were wearing the old branded ones from the year prior. So, okay, we've looked at some of the negative, right? All right, I'll be a little bit positive, Schiller. Okay, I got you. So let's look at what it actually shows within the NFL shop and say, okay, do we think these ones are better? So $274 for this jacket, holy sweet mother of pearl. That is expensive, but do we like the bright colors of things? Apparently on YouTube videos, by the way, like cyan, yellow, and a lot of bright colors are like higher click rates. So maybe we'll put on like a brighter thumbnail for that. But if you ever see different thumbnails, keep that in the back of your mind. The jacket with the different logos for the Super Bowls over the course of time, that one I think is not bad. Again, they're going with the more colorful type of look with it. The white jerseys, the white hats, okay. It's not bad. I mean, I feel like this shirt right here is sort of like a variant of what we're wearing, but obviously a little bit more designer-like, about $119. So the question, again, when was the last time that you bought sports merchandise? Was it something from Fanatic? Was it something elsewhere? I mean, I have repeatedly seen complaints over the past couple of years, and it feels like it's just getting worse and worse and worse and simply worse. But then DoorDash... This post ended up going very, very viral over the past couple of days. If you haven't seen, there was somebody that completed 100,000 DoorDash orders. So he got a collabed Nike tracksuit between Nike and DoorDash. And this sparked the question of, well, how the hell are you going to get through 100,000 DoorDash orders where people were like ripping on him, being like, no, you spent 100,000 on DoorDash. You didn't drive that. And people were like, whoa. And MK here, for him to complete 100,000 deliveries, he would have needed to have an average of 27 deliveries per day every day for 10 years straight. Now, you keep on scrolling down and people are like, okay, well, that's actually totally possible if you think of how many years that it's been around, which is 13. And so this has got all sorts of engagement. It's kind of funny, but also, what do you think of the fit? Nike and DoorDash. Yo, John Ostrowski, what's going on? The Fleming Loyalisters, you should be there if you know, yo. I'm curious what it looks like, though, because for the OCAA, does it end up changing at all with these, like, for the jerseys? I don't actually know how it works for the athletes, if they end up having to pay for anything like that or not, because I feel like over the years they've started to actually shift what colors and design are actually on the jerseys themselves, which, if you haven't seen as well, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the one and only Yoshinobu Yamamoto, rocking some Supreme and Travis Scott Jordans. You know, you're walking down the street, guy looks like an average Joe, and the guy's a millionaire and one of the best baseball players ever. Crazy how that works in the world. So switching over to trading cards real quickly, I've actually never seen the shop, but you guys might have heard of Tom Brady's card vault, and there's a lot more shops popping up, as we've seen with trading cards getting much more interesting. Again, we're going to be dropping a video eventually regarding the trading card that I went to, where I interviewed a bunch of vendors, and it was a really, really cool experience. And you guys have probably watched, especially if you've meandered over to the TikTok world, where there is a mass virality around card vendors having interactions with different people. A lot of them are wholesome and it's cool. It's a little bit different when you go to a store in specific, but somebody did a entire review of their experience at the Tom Brady store in the Mall of America. So that's what the store looks like. Let's see what that is. Staff was very attentive and kind. Phenomenal. Clean, well-kept store. Okay. Pricing on wax and skilled was mostly flat out wild, considering they considering they absolutely have distribution. They had a Hometown Heroes series of $1 to $5 cards encased in a sealable slab with the custom Tom Brady card vault label that were priced at $15 each. So a little bit of a premium. Kind of a lipstick on a pig situation with those. Singles were a mix of or slightly above comps with some aggressively above comps. Pokemon singles and sealed were very limited and not particularly strong. I mean, when you think of Tom Brady, is the first thing you think of Pokemon cards? No, probably sports. The card show that I went to, it was 90 to 95% Pokemon. It's all different. A lot of the card vendors that I talked to stated that between like Pokemon and sports, they originally started within Pokemon and then switched over to sports, which I thought was kind of interesting. And then there was one guy that was a part of a lacrosse team that was there selling Leaf branded cards, as well as promoting one of the local teams for that. And he said, this weekend I'm going to buy my first Pokemon pack, as he was showing me a Shohei Ohtani single card that he bought for $30. And I thought that was sort of funny. But his response when I said, well, what were you hoping to pull? What pack were you wanting to go? What brand, etc.? His response was something that makes me money. So keep that in mind. Some singles were way high, and then when I asked if they could come down near comps, the staff's hands were tied. One Carmelo Anthony BGS 9.5 patch, for example, price was $150. Last direct sale was $62. So that is quite an increase. That felt low compared to some more recent raw sales, but I was interested in seeing where they could get me to meet on it. They ran the barcode through the system and said the buyer who grabbed it, they explained this came from HQ, picked it up for $145, so they couldn't come down from $150. Okay. I'm guessing they can afford to sit on inventory for a long time until a buyer comes along, but the idea that they'd rather do that than negotiate within the reality of the card's worth was really interesting to me. They said they buy trade at 60 to 80%, which is pretty standard for a shop. Really interested to see how often they're at the low and high ends of that scale. All in all, it wasn't a bad experience, but I didn't buy anything, and it's not where I'd go to buy at market prices. That said, a lot of their sports singles inventory was really cool, unique stuff, and they're selling an experience in my opinion. So actually, that final line is a really important part, because the question around introduction, and we went on a whole tangent the other day, and one of the streams we did went super well. I think we almost 2,000 views on it, which is nuts and bonkers. And if you're on YouTube, if you go over to the live stream, you'll be able to see it. But the introduction, and how do you get new people to recognize, hey, there's these things. When you go to a big box store like Walmart, Target, etc., you will meander around and see different things on display and get introduced, and maybe something catches your attention, or a friend that also goes to those stores, as many people do, will bring that up. And having these stores pop up around where, again, I'm trying to think, I don't know to the different malls around like where I am growing up ever. Like, I don't think sports cards were a thing, or cards in general outside of those big box stores. There was a ton of places that were selling jerseys, hats, and whatnot for these sports teams, but it does feel like, okay, who else gets introduced from situations just as this? So we go from complaining about the sports merchandise to maybe praising it just a little bit. The Chicago White Sox released their giveaway calendar, and these are one of the pieces for one of the nights. I guess it's sponsored by Miller Lite. It's off to the side, but overall, I think that is an absolute fire-looking jacket. Somebody's in for some new merchandise. So Chicago is the place to be, and this is sort of what the rest of them looks like. That one is, they call it the 90s jacket overall, but they have like a sleeveless hoodie one, so I guess if you're wanting a different workout shirt. A ton of bobblehead nights. No One Piece giveaways, though. No One Piece. That's unfortunate. We know people are going after those ones. But that's going to be it for this edition of XFeed. Of course, we do the RWA Segments podcast, so if you're wanting to hear me interview a ton of different people that are tokenizing collectibles and working in a different space, I'll have the link down in the description below here on YouTube momentarily. But again, we've been uploading a bunch of streams. I'm going to get to some shorts here momentarily as well. But I appreciate you guys coming through, and Mr. John, thank you, and I'll catch you guys a bit later. Peace.